Welcome back to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center here in Baton Rouge on the campus of LSU. My name is Victor Howell. It's great to have you with us as we now welcome two players from the University of Hawaii for our final press conference with the players. The four teams taking part in this Baton Rouge Regional as Hawaii will take on LSU in Game 2 Friday afternoon, set to tip off around 4:45 or so, give or take, after the end of Game 1. We are joined by two players here to my left, Lily Wahina-Kapu. Got it?
Yep.
Just making sure. And Deja Phillips over there on the far left. For the media that is here in town, Hawaii's locker room will be open until 4:20 Central Time, and we'll have Coach join us here in just a little bit. Ladies, welcome to Baton Rouge. Congratulations on your season to this point. It's great to have you here in our city. Lily, let me start with you first, and then we're going to open up to the media here, but I have a couple of questions. 4-4 in January for this team, and then you went 10-3 since then. What changed, if anything? Was there anything you all adjusted, or what has led, because you seem to have caught fire at the right time?
Yeah, a lot has gone on throughout this whole season with injuries and sickness and stuff, but I feel like our team really worked together more, and we were just communicating with our coaches more, and that we were able to hone in more on our shooting and our team-wise abilities, I guess.
Yeah. Deja, I'm glad you're up here because I think this is a very unique story for people who don't know your story and Hawaii's story. If I read correctly, you went to your coach and said, I want to go off the bench. I guess you had chances to start and play. You decided you wanted to go off the bench, and since you made that move, you've been 13-5. What were you seeing that had you go to your coach and say, let me come in off the bench instead of letting me start this game, and why has it made a difference?
For me, it's easier to come off the bench. I think I can get a flow of the game and see how they're defending our guards. So I know what I need to do when I get in.
Fair enough. That's obviously worked very well, so congratulations for you. If you are joining us via Zoom, if you have a question for either of the players here, you can hit the raise hand icon on your Zoom call, and we will come to you. For the media here in person, please raise your hand for our microphone to come around, and we will open it up to the media here for questions for the players.
This is for both girls, I guess, just different perspectives, I'm assuming from last names. The travel, I'm sure by now you're used to it, but for those of us that have never made that trip, what does it do to your body? How long does it take to acclimate, and how ready are you for a game like this, having already played a season?
Yeah, I think we've gotten used to all the traveling and stuff, but our coaches do a really good job of making sure that we ice bath and stretching and rolling off and on the plane. Just making sure we keep our bodies right and staying hydrated. Yeah.
Yeah, recovery we do is very great. Our weight trainer does very good stretching with us. We stretch and roll every time we get off the plane, no matter what time it is.
Lily, would you talk about your decision to transfer in and how you were received? And Deja, I'd like for you to comment on how she was received also by a team that already was a conference champion and a tournament champion.
Yeah, my teammates and my coaching staff have welcomed me with open arms when I did decide to come back home, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I wanted to come home and play in front of family and with my sister, and then just experiencing this new atmosphere with coaches and these girls has been amazing so far.
We wanted her to come home. We knew that she'd be a good fit for us. She was going to do it for Hawaii, and that's exactly what we did. Helped her get a ring and celebrate and win a championship for Hawaii.
For Lily and Deja, LSU scores a lot of points, 84, third best in the country. What does that do for your offensive mindset heading into the game? To keep up?
Rebounding, sharing the ball, not just trying to everybody go get theirs because it's a big crowd. Everybody just needs to play together.
Defensively, making sure they don't get second shots opportunities, and sharing the ball, making sure we hit the outside shots because we know that they're tall and lengthy inside. So just sharing it, kicking it out. Yeah.
And then obviously, you might have heard this by now, 13 seeds or 14 seeds never beat a third seed in the women's tournament. What does being an underdog mean to each of you?
Go out and play hard. it's anybody's game, whoever comes ready to play.
Yeah, like they just said, it's just another game, and I guess we have something to prove to ourselves and to other people, but the pressure's not really on us, I feel like.
This is for both of you, but for Lily, being the hometown girl and all that, what does it mean to have that underdog mentality, but represent the state in this big tournament? I saw on Twitter there's some Hawaii fans that were either in Texas or here on the mainland that have tickets to this game. But what does it mean for you guys to be able to show out for this crowd, for this fan base that you guys have been playing for all year?
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity to play against the best of the best, and I guess just playing hard and giving everything you have and taking advantage of this opportunity that we get.
The Aloha is with us, and they love us. We're gonna play hard for them.
Scott Rabelais with the Baton Rouge Advocate. I was just kind of wondering if LSU's reputation precedes them, not on the court, and it doesn't help them make a basket or get a rebound, but you have Angel Reese with all the double-doubles, and she's called Bayou Barbie, and you have Flozier Johnson, who's a legitimate rap artist. I mean, are y'all aware of the kind of aura around their team at all?
A little bit. I see it on TikTok here and there.
Oh yeah, I see it on TikTok too. Instagram, all over social media.
The shade room.
Shade.
Everywhere.
You had a question. Share a little bit with us about maybe what you've learned about the scouting of LSU for for the team you're going to face tomorrow.
To not let them get second chance points, one and done. Just play hard and just go out there and try and win the game because it's a winnable game.
What she said, the rebounding.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, Lily, you guys really cut it close coming through the tournament. You barely got out of the first round of the tournament. Is there some way, and for Deja also, is there some way to describe this confidence that y'all have, that you really don't give up, that you no matter how close it, or how far out y'all are, you believe you're going to win?
Yeah, we played some pretty good teams in conference play, and everybody just wants to win, and I guess that's everyone's mentality going into it. They're going to do everything they can to win, and yeah, we got down in a couple of games, but then we were able to stick together and regroup, and I feel like that's what's one really good thing about this group is that we don't give up.
We aren't quitters.
Hi, Evan Easterling, New York Times. How do you think your non-conference schedule prepared you for a game like this, having played, Florida Gulf Coast, Stanford, some teams are also in the tournament?
Yeah, we played a lot of teams that are in the NCAA tournament now. Florida Gulf Coast, Stanford, a couple other ones too. But yeah, our conference prepared us a lot, and I feel like, preseason, it's going to help us. It has helped us prepare us to get us to this point now. So yeah.
I think playing those teams in preseason gave us a feel for what we have coming on Friday, and I think we're ready.
Deja, Coach Kim Mulkey shared the story of watching your all's conference championship game and just flipping through the channels and catching it. I think she knows your coach, and so she saw you, and it might have been you do the post-game interview, and you said that you're a winner. You just knew that, she told us that story earlier today, right? So you obviously have her attention, but you obviously have a lot of confidence as well, and I think you kind of talked about it a little bit, but just how much does that, or is that required, right, to be successful at this point in this time of year?
I think of my team, we just need confidence, and giving them the confidence that we can win this game is just making everybody like, okay, let's go, let's do it. We are winners, and we're ready.
Deja, and then Lily can answer too, but last year, obviously, you ladies came out against Baylor, didn't play the game that you wanted to play. How important is it for you just to play as well as Hawaii basketball, as well as you possibly can, and then let the outcome be the outcome, but have a better showing than what you ladies put together last year?
It's very important. I think it'll get us ready again for next season, next preseason next year. It's super important. We weren't ready for Baylor. We didn't know how fast they were gonna be and like what the difference was. Coming in this year, we know, and we're ready.
Of knowing that that was the season, how it ended last year, how much do you kind of take on your shoulders to say, hey, let's make sure I'm going to do my part to lead these ladies like you've kind of done this last week and a half or so?
Yeah, we got a different team this year. Like, everyone has improved their skills. After watching that Baylor game last year, I feel like it's not going to be the same outcome. I feel like everyone is a little bit more confident in their abilities. Yeah, this is a whole different team, and I think we know how to take forth this new challenge.
This is for both of you guys. Throughout the season, you guys always talk about just how of a tight knit group this group of girls are, and just leading up to the week on Twitter, through the UH Twitter, you guys is going through your travels, just showing just the bond that you guys have. How do you guys kind of use that when like in the Big West Championship game when you guys are down and when things aren't going necessarily your way? How do you guys kind of use that to rally around each other to push you guys over that hump?
When you have a coach that says you're only down 6 possessions, we got this, let's go. And the team gets like, okay, let's go. We're good. Let's do this. We stick together and play for each other and play for those injured people, the 4 that we have.
We celebrate each other a lot. Even when we're down, we continue to celebrate each other, and that's what helps us continue to go.
Again, congratulations so far. Welcome to Baton Rouge. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Hawaii's locker room will stay open for another 15 minutes, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with head coach Laura Beeman as we continue talking Hawaii basketball, set to face LSU on Friday here in the Baton Rouge Regional. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us. And as promised, we told you we'd be right back. Welcome back to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center here in Baton Rouge on the campus of LSU, joined by head coach Laura Beeman from Hawaii as they will take on LSU in Game 2 Friday afternoon in the Baton Rouge Regional of the NCAA Tournament. For the media here in person, Hawaii's practice will begin at 4:30. First 15 minutes will be open for the media, and then they will close it down like we've been doing all afternoon. With that, Coach, welcome to Baton Rouge. Congratulations on your season so far. I had a chance just to talk to some of your players just a moment ago. You've won 7 of 8, 5 straight, and as I was telling them, 4 of 4 in January, but 10 and 3 since. So from the coach's perspective, what seemed to have clicked and maybe what has made the difference to get hot at the right time to carry you here to Baton Rouge?
First off, I want to thank the NC2A and LSU. You guys have been remarkable in hosting us so far. So thank you very much for that. You've made the kids feel really comfortable. You know, I don't look at numbers a lot. So what you just told me is like, oh, we've done okay in the last 7 games. That's pretty good. 4 and 4 in January, we had gone through some preseason injuries. We would get on a little bit of a tear. We would have another injury, get on a little bit of a tear. And when I mean tear, just more playing well with one another. So I think it's this last bit chunk of season is basically because we finally had some continuity with our lineups, with our rotations. It's hard to come up with practice plans and starting lineups and a game plan when 2 days before, you play a game, 2 kids go down. We had 2 kids go down in a matter of 5 days with knees. So not only the physical part of that, but also the emotional toll of losing players that late in the season in that way, one on the road and one in practice. It was a gut punch to this team. And we had to really take a deep breath and talk about our why, talk about our process, figure out what these kids wanted to do and where they wanted to go. And I think after we all kind of got in the fetal position and cried a little bit about the loss, we regrouped and said, let's go. Let's play for them. Let's play for our state. We know what our whys are. Let's go out and do it. And the effort and the enthusiasm for one another has been tremendous. And I really attribute it to these kids' resilience and how they like to play for one another and what they're doing. So I think that is really the main factor of why we've done so well as to late.
A lot of people will see that Hawaii is coming to Baton Rouge and they automatically think of the flight, but you were just telling me you didn't go back to the islands. You came basically from the mainland. Was that strategically done? Was that done on purpose instead of trying to go all the way home and then turn around to go to destination unknown?
Yeah, last year we went back to the islands after winning the tournament because Hawaii's an amazing place. The aloha spirit is absolutely real, and you don't know until you've been there and you've lived there and you've met our community. We really wanted the young ladies to feel the celebration because the program had not been in NC2A since like 2016. And it was important for me to have them come back and be received at the airport with all the lei and all of the band, and then to go on campus and have all the excitement. Hindsight, it was a little bit too much. Traveling then to Waco was a lot. So this year it was, when we win, we're going to stay in Henderson until the NC2A comes and picks us up in that nice little charter plane and flies us wherever we have to go. And the girls were okay with that. We had quite the celebration in Vegas. It's not too bad of a place to celebrate. And we had a big fan base that travels. It's known as the Ninth Island. And so we had a big fan base, and our band and our cheer was there, our administrators, a lot of family. So we were well received after winning our conference tournament. But it was nice to be able to sleep on Sunday and Monday and kind of regather, watch the viewing, and then figure out we were coming here. And just shorten the flight was nice.
Yeah, well, great. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here in Baton Rouge. For
Thank
those
you.
who are joining us online via Zoom, if you have a question, please hit the raise hand icon on your Zoom call, and we will come to you. And with that, we will open up to questions for Coach here on the floor. Please raise your hand so we can bring a microphone to you.
Yes, Coach. Jim Klein, Peter with the Advocate. Could you talk a little bit about Lily's transfer? Was that after a recruiting battle maybe that she'd lost, or how did that all come about? And how big has her addition been? It seems like she folded in very nicely.
COVID played a factor in how much we were able to watch Lily both, on and off the island. At times, the competition on the island isn't good enough for us to really compare to what we want our players to, become, if you will. And so she committed early out of the fear that she wasn't going to land a roster spot. And we had said we needed a little bit more time just because of what we had going on in our roster. So it was a little bit of COVID related. Once she committed to Cal State Fullerton, it was, oh no, we're going to have to play against this kid. And at that point, we went really hard after her sister. And her sister's a phenomenal player. Unfortunately, one of our young ladies that has gone down with an injury. and we went really hard after Jovi, and nonstop, all stop, and fortunately we landed Jovi. And so when we landed Jovi, we had no idea Lily wanted to come back home, but obviously with the caliber of player she is, once she got in the portal, we made the call and said, hey, we would love to have you back. And she said, Coach, I just want to come and play for my family and play for my state. Had nothing to do with Fullerton. Jeff Harada does a great job there. Interconference travel is always a tough thing to deal with, but it was more family, more ohana, more of the aloha spirit, and she had seen what we had done last year, so all of that played a factor.
Michael Cobble from WBRZ TV here in Baton Rouge. Kim alluded to a relationship that you guys have. I don't know how well you all know each other or not, but just from afar, what is your thoughts on the job that she's already done here in year 2?
Oh, she's fabulous. I don't know Kim well. She came to Hawaii, I think it was 11 years ago, for a tournament when she was with Baylor. And I believe they had come off their 44-0 season with Brittany Griner. And I remember when Brittany walked through the halls, I thought my team was going to just die. And I thought to myself at that moment, why did I take this job? This is my first season here. And we had some heavy hitters come in that tournament. She's very gracious. She's intense. I remember when I was watching Kim and I was at a JUCO thinking that's one intense coach, and players want to play for her because she's going to get in their stuff. She's going to be prepared. There's no coach at this level that comes in for the most part and overlooks the team. She is not going to overlook us. Obviously, at a 14-3, we know the odds. It's a David and Goliath. We all know that. But as far as she goes, man, she's one of the trailblazers in this in our game. She is, what she did at Baylor was phenomenal. She's come here and turned this thing around quick. She's a good fit here. So excited to say hello to her again. She's just done a fabulous job.
Hi, Laura. Corey Diaz with USA Today Network. I guess retrospect's always 2020, but has it been advantageous for you and your staff as well as the players to maybe have gone through some of that shuffling around with the rotation in the lineup? When you get to this year, there's maybe a little more experience, a little more different lineups maybe playing together.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. For a while our fans didn't know what we were doing. I don't know if I knew what I was doing, but we didn't have choice. It was this person is a game time decision and it was a no, or this person's game time decision is a yes. And how do you put people back in? Getting chemistry, you don't want to lose a ball game. I think there were a couple times my rotations were bad, and we probably lost a couple games because of that, and I have to take ownership of that. Hindsight, it obviously has paid off well because we've been able to play some people in the stretch either a little bit longer minutes or get a couple people on to give some people some breathers. You don't want your season to go that way where you're always kind of fighting, but it's great to have a group of young ladies that has believed in our process and they bought into our process. And, since 11 years ago, I've walked in and said, this is a process of how we do things on the court, how we do things off the court. And to have a team that says, okay, we think you're a little crazy sometimes, but we're going to believe in you. That means a lot. It's humbling to have a team with all of the injuries and all of the, adversity we've had say, okay, coach, we know you got this and let's go. So I do think, to your point, some of those different lineups have helped us. Trust me, particularly going in tomorrow, I wish I had 5 players that aren't here today. We're going to need all the help we can get. We know that. But I do think some of that experience is absolutely going to be on our side tomorrow.
Scott Rabelais with The Advocate. Just want to make sure I got the story. I heard right. The player said that you said in a huddle during a game, we're 6 possessions down, so let's go. Can you describe a little more about that game and situation?
Yeah, it was the champ.
Speak to the resilience of your team that you've had this year.
Yeah, it was one of the timeouts in a championship game. We went into halftime, we were down, I think, 15, and we talked about the adjustments we needed to make. We talked about if you guys don't lighten up and have a little bit of fun, this game's going to get out of control. And that was the same message that I gave them last year against Irvine. We were down at halftime, that you have to have fun in what you're doing, and that means you have to play hard, you have to lock in, you have to focus. That's fun. Going through motions isn't fun. And it was at one of the timeouts. I said, guys, we're 6 buckets down. We do this every day. And they were just kind of like, oh, that's it. And I was like, yeah, math is hard. And, we're 6 buckets down. And they kind of chuckled. And it was stop, or stop, let's go. And they locked into that message. And they had a goal to be up at the end of the third quarter. We weren't, but we had cut into the lead. And then the fourth quarter, we had some great defensive possessions and just hit some big shots. And from there, thank goodness, Deja was in the right place at the right time. And Amani Perez gave her a beautiful pass. And we won on that shot.
Media, would you mind if I follow up with something? Because I had a chance to talk to Deja when the players were here earlier in this day and age of play me now or I'm leaving. This is a player that came to you and said, Coach, take me off the floor and bring me in off the bench, and she's your second leading scorer. I wanted to ask you from a coach's point of view, have you ever had a lot of players come to you and make that request, and what it's been like having her come off the bench? Because with her doing that, you're 13-5. I know you don't look at numbers a lot, but you're 13-5 since she came to you and said, Coach, bring me in off the bench.
You know, ironically, she's not the first player that's asked me that. You know, our style of play has always been, and my SID can give you correct stats because, again, I don't do numbers. We've had one player of the year since I've been at Hawaii, even when we won the conference. I think we've had 3 or 4 sixth men of the year. So we play team basketball, and I think that for Deja, she saw, hey, when there's a little bit of sacrifice, we share the ball, I can come in off the bench and do more, and then she doesn't come off the floor, obviously. I think that she just kind of felt like she needed to see the game better. It helped her mental, but I think she also was like, this has been a recipe for success in the past. Let me just come off the bench. Let's see what happens. And unfortunately, she had played too many games to be sixth man of the year. Otherwise, she would have absolutely got that hands down. She's a selfless kid. You know, when she says she's a winner, she's won 4 state championships out of Vegas. She's won 2 tournament championships since she's been here with us. The only other year she could have, we were shut down with COVID. That when she says she's a winner, she is. And so she's going to do what it takes to help this team be successful and continue to put us in a place of success.
Coach, I was just curious, how short is your bench, and what is your rotation?
You know, we go 11 deep. One's a walk-on, and she's a lot of our Y too. She's born and raised in Hawaii and doesn't get on the floor. You know, she's not a Division I player, but she is part of our Y. We try to play 10 or 11 if we can. And so it's not a terrible, by any means, it's not like we're down to 6 or 7 kids. But when you're coming from 15 deep and 3 of those are starters, it's a little bit different. And I'm not making excuses. These kids are going to show up tomorrow and we're going to play. You know, the outcome's going to be the outcome. We want to put ourselves in a position to win a ball game. We want to put ourselves in a position to grow this program. You know, everyone starts somewhere. And so we want to put ourselves in a position that, you know, if we're back here again next year, we're not a 14 playing a 3, but maybe we're a 12, and we give ourselves even a better chance. On the men's side, you see the upsets all the time. We saw one today, you know, with Furman and Virginia, where it's a 14-3. The women's side, we don't have that parity yet, and we need to get to that parity, and we need to put our team in a position. So, you know, we do have depth on our bench. We're going to play everybody, give these kids the, you know, opportunity. Not what I want it to be, but it is what it is, and we move forward.
Hi, Evan Easterling, New York Times. You guys played a tough non-conference schedule. What do you think the team learned through that period, and how was it able to develop through that period?
Yeah, during non-conference, they were like, don't do it again. That's what they learned. You know, I think now they can look back and say that it's absolutely given us experience. It's given us, you know, we've played in front of big crowds. We've played in front of rowdy crowds. You know, we're fortunate we have a great arena in Hawaii where we can play in front of some people. So it's giving us the opportunity to go in and play against teams we're not supposed to beat. And it's about finding the resiliency of your team and how they're going to compete against bigger, faster, stronger competition. And you know when you go in, you're the underdog, but you're there. You signed up for it. So I think all of those experiences have led us to tomorrow's game, and we're excited to be in this position.
Congratulations so
Thank
far
you.
in the season. Welcome to Baton Rouge.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up for our pregame press conferences today. Tomorrow, first game, Michigan and UNLV. That'll be at 2 o'clock here at the Maravich Assembly Center, followed by Hawaii and LSU, approximately 4:45. And, of course, we'll be back online via Zoom for all the post-game press conferences. For the media here, Hawaii's practice starts in about 9 minutes. First 15 minutes will be open for the media. Then they will shut it down, and they'll have the time for the rest of themselves. Great to meet you, Coach.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
everything. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you tomorrow for game day here at the Baton Rouge Regional for the Women's NCAA Tournament.